We are over halfway through 2025, yeah, crazy. And in truth, it's been a top-loaded year for RPGs. Most of the stuff that I wanted to play came out in the first 4 months, and relatively speaking, there's not much more to look forward to when I check out my notebook. That doesn't mean there's nothing though, so let's go over the JRPGs that are on my radar for the final half of 2025. The most obvious one is the remade Sky First Chapter. This channel started with the Trail series, I love it more than any other franchise, so it's no wonder that a remake of the very first game will pique my interest. I've at least done my part in supporting it. I've got 3 special editions on the way, plus a steel book. That should give you an idea of not only how much I'm looking forward to it, but also how much expectation I have tied to it. I'm fully expecting it to be not only a special experience, but one of the best games I play this year. Pretty much everything I've seen in the game also supports that. I've been keeping an eye on all of those updates as they come in. They all look positive. Any worries I had with the remake's translation are mostly off the table now, considering terminology is being amended to fit in with the wider series, so we should have consistency. The orbment setups look just like the original, the game looks amazing, it's got all the added content to tie into the wider series, so a bunch of new side content, and the combat is utilising the hybrid approach, which I personally am a fan of. It's going to be releasing in mid-September, and it can't come soon enough. I won't have to wait too long for this second game though, and that's Mado, Monogatari, Fear and the Wondrous Academy. I have no history with the Mado Monogatari series, so I'm going in with basically no background on what the series is about, and it is being published by Idea Factory, which is a red flag for me. I've yet to find one Idea Factory game, published or developed, that I consider to be good, and I am hoping that Fear and the Wondrous Academy will break that voodoo. In truth, signs do look good for it. I am cautiously optimistic because despite my history of Idea Factory releases, the actual game on offer here looks to be up my alley. Fear is a witch in training, she joins an academy and lives out a typical student life, if that student life also involved roaming life-threatening dungeons and putting herself in mortal peril. Maybe it's had budget cuts. The dungeon crawling is probably the only part of it where I think there might be an issue, but I've played action-centric dungeon RPGs in the past and would often be fine with them if it had strong elements elsewhere. You've got side quests, mini-games and a nice art style, it just looks like a relaxing game, and I'm a sucker for those, so maybe this could be a winner too. I hope I'll be echoing that sentiment for the third game too, which is a return to Atelier with Resleriana, the Red Alchemist and the White Guardian. Of course, we've already had an Atelier release this year. We had Yumiya, which I liked. I thought Yumiya was a great game, all said and done, but as Gust made clear, they intended Yumiya to be a game that appealed more to a global audience, and no doubt it did well commercially. It was the best Steam launch for the series to date. For me though, while it was a great game, I'm not so keen to label it as a great Atelier game. I used the rationale that if I were to recommend Yumiya to a new player who simply wanted to get into the series, I couldn't see it as the game that would achieve that task, because it's quite different for the standard layout of what Atelier is. Resleriana, on the other hand, this traditional game set in the world of the gacha entry, could be the one that scratches that itch. Gust intend this game to be a more traditional Atelier experience, focusing on the crafting and the characters with a more light-hearted approach overall. And now that I've seen more of it in the first look trailers over the past couple of months, I am even more excited for it. I believe that I will enjoy this game more than I did Yumiya because a lot of what was shown for Resleriana is what I value in the series. Add on to that the returning legacy characters, the shop management, the turn-based combat and its beautiful visuals, it has to be said, I do have high hopes for it. Okay, carrying on with turn-based RPGs, and it's the remade Fate Extra Record. Now, while it's apparently still due out in 2025, we haven't had any updates at all this year, which is generally a sign that it's going to be delayed, but for now, this hasn't been stated, so I'll stick with the assumption that it will still release this year. Now, while I am apprehensive about a 2025 release, I am also apprehensive about the game itself based on my experience with Fate Samurai Remnant before. I made this clear at the start of the year too. While Samurai Remnant is a good game, it does have some clear flaws, and that was apparently one of the better Fate-based games. There are concerns for me, but on the other side it is Fate. It's a massive franchise in Japan, there's a reason why it continues to go strong even today, and I'll be real, it's still one of my favourite anime adaptations as a collective when considering the 3 routes that were adapted plus Fate Zero, and yes, I'm even including Studio Dean's Fate route in that. And since this is a remake, there is going to be some fine-tuning here and there. It's going to have an expanded scenario, refreshed graphics, and one would think a more streamlined turn-based approach. Like many of the Fate games, it's focused on the Holy Grail War, where servants and masters fight against each other to have their wish granted, so the premise is familiar too. It remains to be seen if it does get the green light this year, but it's still on my radar. Moving on to one that I'd wager is lesser known, it is Stray Children, which is described as a bittersweet fairy tale RPG where adults have become monsters and eat the children. What a pleasant premise. Now, the game came out in Japan back in late 2024 via Onion Games as developer and publisher, and though there hasn't been too much shared of it, I have been drawn in since I first saw it announced back in 2023. There's something oddly mysterious about it. The art style is unsettling to say the least, as are the enemy designs, and it's a game that really seems like it nails the more morose atmosphere. As for the gameplay, I'll leave the explanation to the developer because even I'm still not too sure, so this comes directly from them, and I quote, "As you explore the world of Stray Children, you'll do turn-based battle with these oddball Alders, where you can choose to fearlessly fight or use your words as weapons, landing a crushing blow with just a well-worded whisper. Deftly dodge the relentless barrage of their bottled-up emotions, and discover the source of their strange stories. By touching their heart with your words, you might just be able to save their souls. What other mysteries await you in this weird new world? Find out in Stray Children, an unfamiliar place with all too familiar troubles." So, it's got turn-based combat, seems like it brings in some action elements too, and you've got a story with a lot of potential. I'm happy to give it a go when it comes out, though outside of the 2025 window, we don't have a specific date. Now we move on to one of the games that did get announced this year in Digimon Story Time Stranger, which yeah, I'm down for this. I wouldn't call myself the biggest Digimon fan. Back in the 90s you either liked Pokemon or Digimon, and pretty much everyone in my friend group chose Pokemon. Even to this day, I do prefer Pokemon, but I've watched the original Digimon series, I've dabbled in some of the later ones too, like Tamers and Data Squad, so I'm not going into this game blind, but I am going in blind to Digimon Story. I've never played any of the games. I think I put Cyber Sleuth on my Steam wishlist, but never got around to purchasing it, so anyone wondering why I never recommend these games, it's because I haven't played them. But Time Stranger will pop my Digimon Story cherry unless I actually buy Cyber Sleuth, considering it's currently discounted on the Steam Summer Sale, which to be honest would make sense as Time Stranger is a sequel to Hacker's Memory, which is included with the complete edition of Cyber Sleuth. Now, by no means is this an unknown game. It was first announced way back in 2017, and it's just taken a long time for its eventual release, but late is better than never. As for the game, monster taming elements, turn-based gameplay, it looks good with the whole idea of switching between the real and digital world, and yes, since I already have a vague background of Digimon, I think I might latch on to this one. Though I definitely will be buying it on PC and not console, purely because the console variants are apparently capped at 30 FPS.
Plutomon said,
I can't protect anyone.
We must protect the world from them. For this purpose and this purpose alone were you born.
if that thing opens, then we'll be swarmed by Digimon.
Attack!
Please, everyone, lend me your strength
Everything's riding on
to
you.
move forward into the future!
We must fulfill our mission. Agent.
Which brings us to the last game of the list, and take a guess what it might be. What was the one big game that was announced in 2025 that basically everyone is looking forward to? Of course, it is Final Fantasy Tactics: The Ivalice Chronicles, arguably the greatest tactical game ever made in the eyes of some. I can't stand in any corner, as I have never played this one, so it's all fresh for me, and naturally I want to see what makes it such a highlight for tactical fans. Now admittedly, the news of Ivalice Chronicles was dampened somewhat by the fact that there will be no War of the Lions content in this game, which I understand is disappointing for those who played the game prior, but quite simply, I won't be, because I don't have any reference whereby I should be disappointed. Like I say, for me, Ivalice Chronicles is all new. I know basically nothing about the story, the gameplay, the characters, or the mechanics that make up this game. Add on to that the quality of life features, while still hopefully maintaining the core identity of the original experience. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, and I've no doubt I'm gonna enjoy it as well. And that's it, it rounds us out. Like I say, there aren't many RPGs I'm excited for as we close out 2025, but I much prefer having a small collection of seemingly quality games over a deluge of mediocrity. Let me know what you're looking forward to, and I'll catch you next week. Thank you for watching this video. If you liked it, please like and subscribe for more JRPG content, and consider joining my Patreon if you're interested. Peace.